Welcome to the She Builds Show. I'm your host, Stefanie Olson, a licensed general contractor who builds new construction, renovates, and designs your vision. Today, more than ever, we need raw, authentic women who are willing to rise above society's norms, break those glass ceilings, and encourage each other to boldly build the life we were meant to live. So, honey, what are you building? Okay, you guys, welcome to the She Builds Show. Today we have Chelsea. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so can you give the audience a little tiny introduction of yourself and kind of what you do?
Sure. I'm Chelsea Husum. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I own and operate American GPR Coring. So we do core drilling and ground penetrating radar. We're a small business here working with general contractors, and then probably our top two biggest clients are mechanical companies and electrical companies.
Wow.
So
okay.
We're on the commercial projects. Yeah.
Got it. And this is like nothing I know. I know zero about what you do. So I'm so excited to have you
definitely
teach
a
me
niche.
Something. Yeah. I was like, wow, she has nailed a niche for sure. Okay. So how did you get into this? How did this happen?
Yeah, so I was a high school Spanish teacher for 10 years and just wasn't loving it anymore. So I was like, I need to move on if I'm not loving it. So I was an office manager for a small construction company that did pavers, hardscapes. Mm-hmm. So I did that for a couple of years and then just saw a niche in the community, talked to a few different people in the industry, and really saw that I really started the company with ground penetrating radar. Not a lot of people know what that is, so I'll explain it quickly, but it's a small machine that scans slab concrete. So then you're looking, and then it will tell you what's inside. So it sends radar into the concrete. If there's anything like rebar, PT cable, conduit, or anything else in there, it changes the radar.
Is it looking at a sonogram for the concrete?
Yeah, it's waves and parabolas. And so you have to interpret if there's something in there, those waves will be different. You'll see something differently. So then you mark it out. So it's really safety. So I started a company solely with that. And then just because in Denver, there's not a lot of companies that do it.
I was going to say, are you?
They're large companies. So, I'm certified small women-owned business, disadvantaged, all of that. So companies want to work with us and they have to meet, percentages on these jobs. So they're like, oh, wow, you do that? We started with that. And then I'd be on a site and people would be like, hey, can you just do a quick core drill since you're here? And I'm like, well, sure. So I added core drilling. And honestly, now we do a ton of core drilling. It's crazy.
And what is, so I have so many questions.
No, you're fine.
I'm wow, my brain is losing it. When you say core drilling, what is the purpose of that?
We'll scan to see, for safety, if there's anything in there. And then it's the core drilling, we use a Hilti rig. So it's just a circular cut through concrete, either on the floor or the wall. And so that's before a mechanical or electrical company would come in and put all their stuff. We are really just cutting the holes they need for all of their stuff. So they're like, hey, we need this here. We need this here. Like I said, floor, wall, and then they'll come in and fill it all up with all their stuff.
Wow. Okay. So give me I need a real world example to grasp this, because it's commercial. Is it only apply in existing buildings, not new construction?
It's both actually. So a couple examples, the Denver Public Library or the Colorado Convention Center are existing buildings they're renovating. So then we'll come in and do that. But we also are on a lot of brand new buildings, high rise in downtown that, are brand new.
But why would they need the core drilling in a new construction situation?
Mainly just because they're pouring slab and then they have to come in afterwards and lay out everything. Sometimes it's laid out first, other times they're pouring and then we are cutting after. And then, and then they're putting all their stuff in there.
So they're just not throwing conduit in that concrete to accommodate the electrician, or?
Not always. Sometimes they are pre-sleeving. Sometimes they're not, or they do it and then it has to
it's wrong
due to something,
yeah,
right? There's always
I feel like
that
plumbing is always wrong. We're like, and the island plumbing is wrong.
Yeah, dang it. We really, we missed the mark.
But I mean, in my world, we just like jackhammer it up and then we refill it. We don't have a
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. So really it could go either way. We're working on renovations of existing, we're working on brand new. But yeah, some people do it before, some people do it after. It just we just come in when they call us and
do it. Yeah, we just do it. We're not trying to fix the problem that they created. We're just trying to do our job. Got it.
We'll help them. Yep, exactly.
Okay, so when it's a renovation, it sounds like are these like public works projects or federal government, state? What is the primary people you're?
So some of them are definitely like government buildings, or we're at Denver International Airport, things like that. So it's a lot of certified payroll jobs, and like I said, we're just working for the general contractors or the mechanical or electrical companies on there. But yeah, I mean, some of them we're at like government buildings sometimes, or, the Air Force Academy or different things, universities, all of that. So, I mean, we can be working on private things as well, but a lot of it's like public. Yeah. Public works.
Public entities.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been in business doing this?
So started the company in March of 2020 because what else are you doing?
During COVID.
I'm joking.
Like, you're not teaching kids Spanish over Zoom. That's for sure.
Luckily I had quit teaching the year before. Thank God. I mean, seriously, but I was working a full-time job for the construction company, was starting my company, trying to homeschool 2 kids. So that was interesting. The company really started in March of 2020. I hit the field like September, October. So really didn't do a lot of business in 2020, just kind of getting everything situated. Like that.
With all of that information, why it's a lot. Like I know about it and it's a lot. It's a lot of paperwork. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of time. Yeah. So why did you choose that route? Like that, to me, that's like the most difficult route, I guess. That's why I asked that.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It was not easy. I guess I just saw the benefit. Like, I think it makes my business stand out. There's very, very few of what I do in Denver with those certifications. So I'm SBE, EBE, DBE, and the MEB, WEB. So I'm all 4 of those. But I mean, yeah, it's like they want everything, pretty much your firstborn child. They're like, here, what else do you want? Like, any financials, like, I mean, all kinds of paperwork, like you said. And then because it was kind of the heart of COVID, they're like, usually they'll do a site visit. So I office out of my house, but then all my technicians have their van that they just take home. It's so much easier. Everything they need in there. So we don't really have like an office, quote unquote. Right. So I remember it was a 2-hour Zoom video call at the end. And I remember my lady kept being like, but so what is it you do again? Like, I don't understand what you do. And I'm like, I know it's difficult to explain. I'm walking her around my house, showing her the equipment in my garage and trying to explain to her and find like YouTube videos to show her what I do, because she's just like, I don't get this.
Yeah.
And it is weird. I get it. It's totally a niche. Most people are like, what are you talking about? You know? I mean, yeah. And it finally got approved. So then I think for 3 years after, you just do the easy, has anything changed? Recertified, which is fantastic. So I think soon I'll have to redo it again. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I think in what I do, it does matter to some companies. Some just use us because they love us. My guys are just great at what they do. And, I just ask for a chance. Like, can we just have one chance on a job? And then the guys just prove themselves and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, we'll be using you. You know, so I get a lot of business just word of mouth and referrals, truly, by who we work with, and they'll, spread the word. But yeah, it was just important to me to have that, just to kind of stand out a little bit.
Right. Well, I applaud you, because I've tried multiple times and I'm like, forget it. I don't even want to do it. It's so hard.
Well, and I've been in everything else.
Yeah. Well, my entity's been in, in existence for like 15 years. And so it's like, to me, if I was just starting something new, it would be so much easier. But all of like the back information that they ask, I'm like, oh my God, never mind.
Yeah, honestly, it was probably easier because I was just starting out.
Yeah.
And I don't have that. I don't have that. Or
yeah, that doesn't apply.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
So with the equipment, I'm just curious, like, how much does this like radar or coring machine cost? And, how did you know how to use it or find people that knew what to do with it? Like, you've got the couple guys working for you that I don't know how many employees you have, but you've got people that are, trained in this. What was that process like?
Sure. So we use for the GPR unit and the core drilling rig, we use Hilti. Like if I was to buy a Hilti GPR, it's like 40 grand, which I have zero desire to do that. Because then you have this really expensive piece that if it breaks, it's probably thousands to fix it. I lease it. I have a lease program. It's a lot easier. And then for the core rigs, I've bought some, I've leased some. I think for buying them, it's like 6 grand for the rig. And then you need a few other things and then the bids. Oh, so really, I kind of found out the hard way that I just really need, mainly from my first employee that wasn't ideal and didn't work out. I really just need good people and experts at what they do. When I interview people, they're probably like, oh, who's this crazy lady? I own a company. Do you want to come work for me? In this industry and what we do, there's either established companies that have, are pretty large. And then there's like, or, and so these guys they took a chance on me, and I'm like, we just have a really cool culture that we all work together. I can change anything at any time. If it's not working, great. We all are communicating all the time. We're all involved in discussions and estimates and in all the stuff. And so we all just kind of take ownership in it. And so I've been very lucky to find my technicians that they are experts. They know what they're doing. And I have to have the best people in town. They've been doing this forever. They could do it in their sleep because they're the company. Yes, I run the operations and things, but like if they're not good at what they do, we are never going to keep a client or earn a client, right? So they are the ones out there earning the business and earning the repeat business, right? So they know way more than I do. I call them and harass them all the time, like, hey, somebody's asking this. What do you think? Or they're like, yeah, let me go out to the site and take a look, and they are experts. I trust them. I don't micromanage them. I let them go do their thing. If they need me, I'm here. But like, I don't need to micromanage them. They know what they're doing. They got it. They got it handled and they just go out and do it. And then I'm here to support as needed. So I've been extremely lucky with the technicians I have. And honestly, like each one of them, I have hired from them. I'm like, hey guys, I need to hire. I post online. It's just, I work at Subway. I'm a sandwich artist. I would like to talk with you. And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, I will never hire you. I mean,
how could you?
I say to my guys, like, hey, we need to hire somebody. Do you know anybody that would fit in our culture, that gets who we are? And they've been really good about, that's how I've literally hired them all.
Yeah.
So it's been.
How many technicians do you have now?
So I have 3 right now and I'm hiring 4. So we're pretty small.
That's I think that you got a little dream team that knocks it out of the park. What has been, because, you're going from teaching where you're getting a paycheck, you show up to work, you get a 401k, you have insurance covered, you know your schedule, right? And then you dove deep into this, just kind of like scrolling back and going, which one, like, do you like better? Are you happy where you are? Are you happy you made this decision? Or are you like, I'm so stressed, I can't deal?
Yeah, that's a great question. So teaching is very stressful also. And I feel like maybe just that of you're dealing with so many things at a time. I'm just so good. Like I'm a really hard worker, but I can handle, there's a lot going on owning a business. Like people don't understand unless you actually own a business, it doesn't stop. It's on your brain all the time. You'll wake up in the middle of the night like, oh yeah, this, that, like, did I do this? It will never stop. But honestly, like I freaking love construction. Like I am so proud of what we've built. I love all my clients, the industry people. I've met just some amazing people in general and a lot of really badass women, honestly, in the industry. It's just like every networking event or different events I go to, I just love it. Like they're fun, down to earth, real people. And honestly, I've been really lucky. I don't deal with people that are super difficult or mean or think, oh, she's a woman, whatever. Like honestly, I love dealing with everybody. It's just a fun industry, and I don't know, it's been really enjoyable. And every single day is different for me, and so I love that. Like today, my kid woke up sick, and so I'm at home with him, but I have a bunch of meetings next week, popping from one to the other and out on site visits sometimes. And it's just, I enjoy doing different stuff every day and having flexibility too. Like today, my kid's home sick. So here I am, and I can do that because I can still, obviously, I still work from home, but I can get my stuff done. So I truly, I never was a little girl being like, I'm going to start a construction company when I get older, right? Like never, no. But I just really love it. And I feel like I found my thing. And yeah, so it was a good choice for sure.
That's awesome. Sure. I know. And I feel that way sometimes too, where it's like, it's kind of a double-edged sword because you're probably busier than you want to be and more stressed sometimes than I think is healthy. And yet it is like that, it's like, oh, I found my people and I found where I belong. And sometimes I don't want to talk to them because I'm tired today. But that doesn't mean like the core, at the core that it's really what you love to do. So I agree. I think business is hard. What part of the business has been the easiest for you? Like what part were you just like, oh, that makes sense to me and I get it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have no business training or I've never taken classes. You just jump in and kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? If you want to learn something, you can learn it. You just got to put in the time and effort, right? For me, the easiest and probably most enjoyable is just like connecting with people or creating relationships with people. No matter what I've done in life, even when I was a teacher, like it was getting to know the students, now it's getting to know the people I work with on a personal level, right? We don't always need to talk business. Sometimes I want to hear, what are you doing this weekend? Like, do you have anything fun planned? Whatever. And I think I just naturally enjoy that. So that's just been easy. And it really is a transferable skill. You can do it anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think people underestimate that because if you can't talk to clients or get to know them or have, established trust and you're just a introvert, not able to communicate, I don't think it translates well in this industry. You have to be able to create relationships. And
you do.
I feel like out of those relationships, that's how opportunities, are born. And then obviously your work has to stand up for what you say you're going to do. But I love that. What about the hardest part? What's been the hardest part?
Well, I mean, there's been a lot of hardest part, just really learning from what we had kind of talked about before. I mean, owning a business, like I am responsible for people now. They depend on me for business, for their paycheck, for all this. There's a lot, on your shoulders, as you know, right? And so it's, I think the hardest is, well, the things that maybe are a thorn in my side, insurance, I just leave it to them. I'm like, hey, this is what I need. Help me. You know what you're doing. I don't even know what you're talking about. Just figure it out for me. I need ungodly amounts of insurance.
Right.
I have pretty much every kind humanly possible, That certified payroll used to just literally, I would sit in my office like, why, God, why are you torturing me? Because I didn't know how to do it. Now I know exactly what to put where, and boom, there we go. So, I mean, with time, the harder things have gotten easier, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just, and then just managing people too. There's always things like, oh, somebody's sick or somebody's, going on vacation for 2 weeks, and we're small. So then I'm like, oh, Lordy, I'm stressed out, and then that's when everyone
falling on you
for work too. And it's like, okay, I can get through this, but it's intense, managing schedules and people. But honestly, I think I've found ways as I've grown the business, and now we're busier than we've ever been. But like, I get up early, I go work out, I get up at 5:30, I'm going to the gym, I'll meditate, I'll do things to make me feel healthy and good, because if I don't, it's a mess. And now at this point, I know what I need to do to feel good and have energy and be ready mentally to be like, let's do this.
Right.
Because if I don't do that, I don't even know how to juggle everything. Really.
Absolutely. I think that's my friends and I are like putting together a course. We're working on it. I haven't really talked about it. It's about like exactly that, how we have these extremely strong, powerful, successful women, and we don't realize like the areas of our life that we don't give attention to. And then we end up failing at home, or failing our health, or failing mentally because we haven't cared for our thoughts, or been able to have peace or boundaries. And I think that's so important. I actually just this morning, it's been a rough week. My husband's been in the hospital, and
sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's just life. There's always something.
There's always something.
There's always something. And I'm like you, I get up early, I work out, and I do all that. And I just didn't feel, I was just wiped out today. And I'm like, and I just sat there. I'm like, what's the one thing that's going to make me feel better? I'm like turning off my phone and the Peloton for 30 minutes, you know, and like a good sweat. And it's like, I'm so glad that I've established those habits enough to know that like the answer for me is not sugar or junk or
wine or whatever.
Alcohol or whatever those things that are going to be hurtful to my body and not make me feel better, but like going and taking 30 minutes by myself, turning off my phone, and how that can just like restore you. And I don't know if it's like, does that come with age, or like, I didn't know that in my 20s,
I didn't either. Yeah. But I don't think we had these responsibilities or
that's true.
So much on our plate, and you have to figure it out for sure. Yeah. You just
Absolutely.
do, or you're not gonna.
And the energy, I think that's like one of like the topics that we're talking about is like energy and joy, like, and how do you, sustain that, and how do you have enough for your kids? How old are your kids?
I have 2 boys. They're 6 and 9. So they're like so much energy. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, half the time lately, because I've been getting up early and, there's so much happening in the day. Your brain's like mush by the end. Oh my gosh, what just happened? And I'm like putting my little one to bed. And I'm like, I'm just going to go to bed with you, bud, because I'm exhausted and I'm going to get up early and I need sleep, or I'm going to be a crazy person. Like I can't run on no sleep. Yeah. Just like those habits. And I don't think any of us knew that when we were younger. Absolutely. I have taught some classes to some high school and middle school girls on that kind of stuff, because I had no clue about that when I was little. And honestly, it's like coping skills as well to cope
Absolutely.
with life, to help you in the future. So I'm really passionate about passing that on to younger girls, because they really don't hear about it. You know what I mean? So
we just like are filled with this stress, and we don't know how to process it. Yeah. Or how to change the way that you think and what you tell yourself and that kind of stuff.
And women, it's this social stigma. It's like, if you're supposed to take care of everybody, make everyone's life easier and do all this stuff. But, if you take care of yourself at all, you're a horrible mother, you're a horrible woman, horrible wife, right? That is so messed up. Like it just is not okay. We have to take care of ourselves. And it doesn't mean we're selfish or whatever, then we'll be better for everybody else. But I'm always like, get me on my soapbox about that.
Yeah. I actually had such a good conversation with one of my friends the other day. And because I think I take that on of like, I've got to do everything. Like, my job plus
it's ridiculous.
Like everything in the house. Right.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, when I had my first baby, I just looked at my husband and I was like, I can't do this. Like, we need to have a conversation about the chores, like the things that need to be done in the house. And I'm not going to be responsible for all of it. Like, it needs to be a joint thing. And it was like this freaking light bulb went on. I was like,
Oh my God. Like I just silently take all of that on and I stress myself out and I walk around like a cranky person because I am mad at the fact that nobody helps me, but I don't communicate how they could help me. So I sat down and I made this
just do
chart.
it.
Yeah, I just do it. I'm like the dishes, the laundry, the vacuuming, mopping. And it's like, is it because it's my standard of how I want the house and they don't have that
and
standard?
It might be.
So, and so they don't do anything. And I like sat down a few weeks ago and I made a chart. I listed all of the chores in the house and I showed it to the family. And I was like, these are all the things mommy does. Which ones are you going to take?
Yeah, that's great though. Yeah. It really is.
And like they've taken responsibility. It's like my son, he's 8. He wanted to tidy the living room every day. So he puts because it's something that I don't do or I do automatically and I don't think about me doing it. But it's like, he's 8. He can fold the blankets and put the pillows up and pick up every day. It's easy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'd never thought to like elicit my family. Which is sad.
And they're willing to help too.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
So we made a little chart and I made silly little pictures that goes with everything. And like daddy wasn't around when we did it. And so like I put like a dog taking a dump and he has to pick up dog poop in the picture. Funny. It's hilarious. Everybody's
my 6-year-old is like, Mom, I'll go pick up the dog poop. I'm like, cool, great. Yeah. Like, and he does. I'm like, hey, that's fantastic.
Yeah, I know. I think that we just don't realize that we put so much pressure on ourselves and don't communicate that we need help. I didn't think that this topic was going to go where it's going, but I think that's great.
I like it.
Okay. So when you're thinking about where you want to take this business and what you want to do with it, I would love to just like share in like maybe like the dreams and the, you know, where you want it to go and what you envision. Like, what do you carry around with that?
I don't want to grow super, super big, honestly, but I think my max like employees would be 9 or 10. I don't want to be massive. And I think that's still small enough we can have control over the culture and the people and without massive changes happening or, you know, but I think, you know, growing the Denver business, becoming more established, we already work with a lot of very large customers and medium and small. I mean, it's a really great mix of people who we work with at companies. So I think just continuing to work and partner with those really great companies, possibly expanding to Salt Lake City, just, you know, hiring right now is just really difficult.
Yeah,
and
I find people
getting like people with zero experience. Again, I'm not
Subway sandwiches. Yeah. I love that example. A lot of those people. What did you call him? A sandwich? What? A sandwich? What did you call him? A sandwich?
It's what is it?
What did you say? It was so funny. It was like sandwich designer.
Sandwich artist. They call it a sandwich artist. Yeah, must be their title.
I've never heard of that. That's fantastic.
So yeah, just continuing to establish our reputation and who we work for here. And honestly, like we're pretty much on track to double the revenue we did last year.
Oh, that's
pretty
incredible.
Easily. So I mean, that's
that feels good when you've got
every year.
Yeah, when you just are seeing like the fruits of your labor, that feels good when it goes that way. Are you passionate about, you know, now that you've kind of stepped into this role, unknowing it was kind of like your passion or maybe your calling or the thing that you wanted to do, but now you are this woman in, you know, a very male dominated industry, you know, specifically within the niche. Are you interested in like encouraging other women? Like, has that become part of your impact or your purpose at all?
I'm definitely active in a lot of organizations. I'm in like National Women in Construction and Women of Asphalt. I'm on the board with them. I'm on the board for STEM Blazers, which is a really exciting nonprofit that is connecting middle and high school girls with women in the STEM industry and doing field trips, job shadows, internships, and really connecting them so if they decide to go into the industry, they have connections and, you know, we can support them. So that's been really fun. Yeah. And I mean, I'm just anything with women in construction, I'm at like, you know, any of the events. I just love these women. They're fantastic people and they're out doing some really great in the community too. So yeah, that has been just an easy thing to kind of step into and enjoy. From being a teacher, I already have passion for like getting kids inspired and thinking about things maybe they didn't, which we know the construction industry is a massive industry, but not a lot of women maybe know jobs, like what you can actually do in this industry, or you can actually make money. There's career paths for this that are really amazing. One of my good friends just retired from CDOT after 33 years. I mean, I have some friends here that have been working in this industry a really long time, and they've paved the way for all of us to come, and when things maybe weren't as easy for them, or, they went through a lot of stuff, and they are fantastic. I think, with the women and the young girls, it's really exciting to hopefully inspire some of these people to look at the industry differently.
Absolutely. Or to think about, because there was never any talk when I was a kid that like, oh, you could do this, No, I just was like by myself.
Instructions for guys, like, why would I ever go into that? Right. I mean, yeah. And there's so many women in it now. But I mean, I say that, but the percentage is like, it's 10% or so, 10, 11% women. So it's still extremely small. I just feel fortunate. I've met so many awesome women in it. So I feel that connection and network for sure. Absolutely. And I can call, friends, hey, what would you do in this situation? Or, find like mentors or just colleagues to
help you.
Share it. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I love that. Well, this has been extraordinary learning about coring and radar. I feel like it's like sonogram for the ground, and
pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome. Can you just share with people like where they can find you, hire you, follow you?
Yeah. So our website is AmericanGPRCO.com. There's more info about my team, different jobs we've worked on, stuff like that there. I'm on LinkedIn, just under Chelsea Husum. Yeah. And that's all the business stuff we have.
And you have Instagram.
But I appreciate it. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Chelsea. It's been such a pleasure to learn about you and your business and, what you're doing. And thank you for sharing and enlightening that like there is a whole other way of being in the industry that like I didn't even know about. That's so cool.
Well, thank you for reaching out. This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Of course. Well, have a great day.
You too.
Thanks. Okay. You bet. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining me today on the She Build Show. My name is Stefanie Olson. My hope is that this episode leaves you feeling empowered and ready to boldly take that step into building the life that you envision, 1 2x4 at a time. And if you can do me a quick favor, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. I get giddy over reading the reviews each week, and I will choose one special person to win some She Build swag. Make sure you add your name to the review, and I'll reach out if you're the winner. Thanks again for hanging out. Be sure to visit me at theshebuildshow.com, where you can ask me questions and share with me what you're building.